so much for joining me for Mystical Empowerment Time. I'm Deb Bullions. I'm coming to you from the Gold Coast of Australia. I'll skip the word sunny today because we are having downpours, but good for the planet, so good for the food sources, not complaining. So today, as always, we will take a caller early on in the show, and then we're going to cover a couple of different topics today after our caller. We are going to cover psychometry, explaining what psychometry is and how it works. As always, I want to teach you just as I was taught. And we may have some time to cover a very special type of reading called a spiritual pedigree reading. So we'll see. We'll see what today brings. Let's talk a little bit about psychometry while we wait for our first caller. And psychometry is basically reading the energy off of an object. Just like we have energies running through us regularly, our aura, our own personal energy signature, when we wear a thing regularly, when we have an item that we love, it may have some of our energy signatures left over on it. So often when people come in for mediumship readings, I tell them, if they come in face to face to bring an item if they wish, and I can read the energy off of that item if it belonged to a lost loved one, like a grandparent or a friend that's crossed over into spirit. And why do we do that? Well, that item has its own frequency, and often it is, if it's been well loved and well used by the person who's crossed over, it's like when I hold it, it's like dialing their phone number. It has their unique energy frequency pattern. So it brings them straight to the front. They skip the queue. Sometimes we get randoms in, and I don't mean randoms, but what I mean is beings that maybe aren't the one that the person wished to hear from, the client wished to hear from. And this way, by holding on to an item, it brings the person that the item belonged to straight to the front. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that later on. But right now, we've got Beth in, I think it's Boise, Louisiana. Hi, Beth. Are you there? Okay. All righty. Now, we'll keep going around psychometry just for a moment. A really fun thing to do, if you, like me, love to practice, is go into an antique store. If you go into an antique store and hold an item in your hand that's been well loved, you can often pick up on the frequency of its owner and perhaps learn a little bit about them. You may be one of those who has the gift of sight, where you might actually see where that item came from, the home that it was within. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later, but right now we've got Beth in Boise, Louisiana with us. How are you, Beth?
Hi, I'm fine.
Good, good. Now, are you looking for a psychic reading about your life and about your future, or are you hoping to
Yes,
connect
ma'am.
to a loved one? A psychic reading. Okay, great. Just give me one moment. I'm just going to tune into your energy, your team. Now I've got to ask, do you have do you have a love of cats?
A cat?
Yeah.
Yes and no. I had a cat with my ex-girlfriend not too long ago, but she got left behind. But yes, I loved her. Sure did.
Yeah, because I'm going into the past and I was like, there's something with the cat or the cats. Okay, so that would explain that. Bear with me. Let's just see what else. It just like, I like to know that I'm connected to you. So I pull up things from the past before we start talking about today and the future. So let's see what else they can tell me that might help me know I'm really connected to you, Beth. Let's see, Spirit, what can you tell me? Um, I'm getting a feeling of anxiety, but it's about a place. It's almost um, like there's a situation and it's related to a particular place. So are you discussing, or have you been discussing recently, a move?
I'm gonna have to be moving shortly. I became homeless not too long ago, and I'm staying with a friend, but their house is for sale, and I have to be moving from here. shortly.
Got it. Yeah, because I could feel like the anxiety, and it doesn't mean that you suffer anxiety. I just, there's
Oh no,
situations
I
in life
suffer
that
from
are
anxiety
tough.
big time.
Yeah, and it felt like one of those situations was about the place, a move, etc. Okay, let's see what they can tell us about that. Um, they just said to me that there might be some conflict, there might be some disagreements about um, either where you are now or where you're going to, and they're saying the conflict is not going to last for long.
Good. Okay.
Bear with
Yeah.
me.
Yes. Yeah. I've had a
That
conflict with
makes
some other people that live here, and yeah, they've been just really nasty to me and caused me a lot of problems.
I understand. Okay. So they're saying that's not going to last for too much longer. And then
Okay.
they show me that the new place. Now, you may still be going into a share situation. I see you with another person in the new home, is what they're saying. So if this is your partner, that's great. But if not, you might end up with, no, I guess they call them roommates in the US. But what they're saying is this person is delightful because they show me like a magical bumblebee with the beautiful sparkly wings. And they're saying that this is like the break that you've been waiting for. Um, I feel like you've been shuffled around a little bit lately, and it's been hard to get your bearings. And
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't get to hear very clearly what you said the reason for the move was, but I just feel a lot of emotional turmoil connected with it. And they're saying you are going to land on your feet with, hmm, it's almost like a fairy godmother feeling. Somebody who is really going to be important or is very important to you, and they're all about what's best for you. Somebody who needs the opportunity to nurture. So I don't know if you've ever looked at like a split home situation or a like an upstairs downstairs where there's a apartment
No, I
downstairs and
really
a
don't even know.
bedrooms.
Like, I'm gonna become homeless like when I leave here, so that's like a good thing, I guess, that you're telling me that because I'm practically gonna be homeless whenever I leave here.
I understand, and don't worry. They're saying you are going to meet your fairy godmother. It's almost like she doesn't have anyone else in the house. She needs
Is it gonna be
somebody
a
to
she or a
nurture.
he? Because I met someone from the UK through I don't know something. I don't even know how I met this person, and they seem like that type of person.
It's very caring. Right. Let me
Mm.
just ask. I'm just consulting with the divining rod. Won't be a moment. And I'm just going to ask them, is the person that's first show us which ways? Yes, Rod. Beautiful. And this is only controlled by my spirit team consulting with Beth. There we go. Okay. So is spirit, is the man, the gentleman that Beth met, is he the one that's going to take her in? Is he the one that's going to introduce her to who's going to, yeah. So what this is he is the right contact. I feel like he's going to be the one that will introduce you to the woman who will take you into her home, and she's going to do nothing but magical things for you. She's going to be all about building you back up for you to see the beautiful heart, the sweet person that you are, to help you to heal, to help you to truly get back on your feet. And it honestly feels like, even though it may not sound perfect to be in a share situation, there's plenty of room. It feels like a big rambling house, and you almost get your own floor, your own, story of the house. And they're
Mm.
saying it's almost an 18 months to 24-month thing where you won't even want to leave. You won't want to rush out because she's all about building you back up and getting you back out into the world, feeling wonderful again. And that connection happens through this man that you met.
Okay.
Okay. So they want you to know
Okay.
it's going to be okay, dear one. Like I know the type of thoughts that you've been having, and I can feel the pain in your heart. Like it's the most difficult thing I feel like you've ever been through. And they're saying, please understand that you have done nothing wrong. This is circumstance. And when you build yourself back up with the help of this precious woman, you are going to realize that you are so much more than you've ever allowed yourself to believe that you are. So I'm going to let them tell me a bit about your gifts, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay. Let me just ask them about what you've brought with you into this life that I know that you have to share. So, have you a love of, because they show me you have like so much patience and tolerance. Have you a love of children?
I love my children. I used to work with children, but I lost a lot of my patience here recently. I've lost a lot of patience. I don't have as much patience
Yeah.
as I used to.
Because they showed that working with children. So that would make sense that you did that previously. So that was one of the gifts that you brought into the world. And they said that as you go through this process of this next 18 to 24 months of, redefining who you are and finding the magic within you, that you will find that patience again.
Yeah.
What else did Beth bring into this world with her spirit? Wow. They make me feel like when you have a friend, you are one of the most loyal people,
Yes,
that they have
ma'am.
that they have a friend for life with you. And unfortunately, that can draw narcissists to you because you're
Yes,
so
ma'am.
caring. Yeah. But they're saying that this coming 18 to 24 months is like from now until then, getting past this icky period, which feels like it's only another 6 weeks, 8 weeks at the most that you're in this situation you're in now. Then the solution comes about. And they're saying as soon as you get into that new place, you're going to reconnect with who you really are, and it's going to be the best thing for you because sometimes we go through life and we become who we need to become because of circumstances, and they're saying this is your great do-over where you will get to become who you were always meant to be, and you'll start to put very healthy boundaries around yourself so that when you draw these great new friends into your life, you're going to make sure that they value you as much as you value them before you give them that lifelong loyalty. So they're saying no more narcissists in your life. And you're going to do that through building yourself back up and beginning to feel better again. Um, Now, was it yourself or somebody close to you that had an issue with substance, perhaps alcohol?
No, my ex-girlfriend had issues with Xanax, and myself too. I've had substance abuse problems before.
Yeah, because they're saying that that's in the past for you now. They're saying you're going to be attracting healthier people because your mind's going to be of a healthier mindset. So I feel like you were instrumental in helping, whether it was your girlfriend or whether it was
She's
friends from the
deceased, yeah.
past. Yeah, instrumental in helping them to come off of the
I tried.
dependencies.
Yeah, I tried.
Ye- Yeah. Okay. Okay. Um, this is going to be a feature in your life in the future. It's about healthy lifestyles and healthy coping mechanisms. They said there's going to be a whole new career for you, a whole
God.
new, it won't be just a job. It's a way of life, helping other people into healthier lifestyles with healthier coping mechanisms, because the world is a pretty harsh place. And for gentle souls like yourself, and the dear one that you love and loved, the world can crush us at times. And they're saying if we don't have the tools that we need, we can make unhealthy choices just to soothe ourselves. So you realize that, you recognize that, and as you go from strength to strength in your new home environment, they're They're saying this will be something that you may even study. You may even do a small qualification, like short courses, etc., so that you find yourself in a position to help others, not deep in trauma, but helping them to avoid going into a place where they're going to create trauma. Does that make sense to
Mhm.
you?
Yes, ma'am. Because I've always wanted to take psychology and help people, like in counseling or something like that. And
Yeah,
I'm a helper. Like I always help people. That's the way I've always been. I've always reached out to people with like mental illness or whatever, and I've always been
it,
there to try
it's
to help them.
that's one of the gifts you bring to the world. They wanted you to know about that, that they, when I say they, we all have guides and angels. And so they talk to my team and they're saying, you need to know that that's just not in your imagination. That's a dream for you to fulfill so that you can continue to help others. And it doesn't have to be a big psychology degree. They're saying when you're on your feet, give yourself 6 to 12 months. You may do one of the shorter courses that qualifies you as a counselor or something similar, and you will be the perfect person to help others. One, get back on their feet if they've fallen over, and two, deal with stresses in a very, very healthy way. So it's all coming for you, Beth. They just want you to hold on through this next
I'm
6 weeks or
trying.
so. Just hold on. Just hold on. They're saying, in fact, as hard as it is to hear, sometimes when we experience these traumas and these periods like you're going through now, it's cracking open our hearts to have even more compassion and understanding for other people's situations. You will use that compassion, you will use that understanding to help others. And so it's a blessing in disguise. Just remember, it's only for a short while, this really difficult, unfriendly, challenging circumstance you find yourself in. And then boom, the doors are open and you're going to thrive. You're going to put yourself back together and be so grateful that you get that opportunity.
Thank you.
You're so welcome, Beth. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am. Mhm.
No? Okay, hon.
Mhm.
Know that there are good things coming, and honestly, you just hang in there, okay? Because life's going to get so much better really
Thank
quickly.
you. Thank you so much.
Take care now, Beth.
Thanks, you too.
You're welcome, honey. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Oh, bless. Oh, sometimes we go through such trials and such tribulations, and it's very difficult to see in the middle of those things that, again, it can be breaking our hearts wide open to have even more compassion for others. And as we learn to help ourselves, some of us are meant to utilize that information and knowledge and the courage that we found within ourselves to help inspire others. So I hope that our caller, Beth, understands what Spirit said and just hangs in there. So we're going to talk just a little bit more now about psychometry. I just wanted to finish off that topic with you. So it sounds so interesting. And you'll see it too if you watch other mediums working. Now, just because when you come through to me for a reading, if you want to talk to a spirit, if you come to me privately, uh, you can send me a digital photograph. And what will happen is I'll see the text come up and I will open it, but I'll open it and put it in my hand like this in front of you. So you can see that I'm not actually looking at the photo or the email, depending on how you get it to me. But the photo is something that myself and my team can tune into the vibration of to get the person in that photo to come forward. So psychometry works in person with the item. For example, if you brought through your mother, father, friends, glasses, rings, things that they wore close to them, that really helps us to bring them forward so that you can have the session you want to have. But if you're going to work with a medium online, then you can also send a photograph. And we won't look at it because part of the process of a mediumship reading is for us to see or get the spirit to describe themselves. So that's part of the identification. And that way we can make sure we're speaking to the right person. So we don't really want to look at the photo. We want to tell you what their build was like, what their hair color, eye color, etc. was like. So you can say, yes, that's my uncle. Or whoever it is that you were trying to bring through. That's part of the evidence. So psychometry is a wonderful thing to use when you go to a medium, but it's also a wonderful thing to learn. And again, learning to read or feel the energy off of an item. We can do it in antique shops. We can do it in friends' houses if we have their permission to pick up an item that they love. Um, a really cool thing is you can take a ring or an item that you wear and swap with a friend if you're both practicing to become mediums or psychics to see what you can receive, because it's not just for mediumship. I remember years ago when I went to a psychic myself, she took a ring from me and she was able to do the whole reading from one of my own rings because she was so tuned into my energy. Now I can do that for others as well. And so it can tell you everything about the person that you're reading for if you're a psychic as well. So, on to the next topic now. We've talked about psychometry, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about a very special type of reading. They're not for everybody, but you or somebody you know might want to apply for this reading. They're going up on my website this week. I've been doing them for a few years, but normally people find me just somehow for this particular type of reading. So if you have memories of past lives, or you have a feeling that you're here for something very, very important right now. You feel like an old soul. Sometimes people have memories of being in front of crowds of people or know that they're supposed to do that again. There are many, many people walking this planet who have been here before. That's just something I find when I do my mediumship and when I read the Akashic records, that many of us come back again and again and again. And sometimes we've been important people from the past. I'll give you an example. I read for a woman just a couple of weeks ago who was Martin Luther King's mother and in a previous life. Now, of course, their lifetimes overlapped, and that's another thing. We can be here multiple times on the planet. But the point is, sometimes we know we're here for something very important. We can feel it. Sometimes we have flashbacks or memories, although not everybody does, but they want to know, what's my pedigree from my past? Was I ever a god, a goddess, a demigod, a archangel? Did I contribute to this? I feel like an earth angel, or I feel like I'm here to help people and I want to understand more about it. There's a reading that I can do, which is opening up your Akashic records to tell you if you are connected to somebody that we would know from history. And my gosh, I've met everyone from people who were inventors in the past, artists, writers, political figures, sometimes even from thousands of years ago, demigods, all kinds of things. And why would they want to know that? You may think, why or how is that relevant to somebody? Sometimes they just have this inkling that they have a calling, that they're here for something more. They're here to help people. And understanding who they've been previously can help to give them the confidence and the courage to become that great version of themselves now. They don't have to be who they've been. If they were some famous figure from the past thousands of years ago, nobody has to pretend to be that anymore. That's already been and gone. But it will often inspire confidence in the person to say, wow, my soul has done some pretty magical things in the past. I have these great dreams of helping on a grand scale now. I understand I might just have those capabilities within my soul. So That's the purpose for the spiritual pedigree readings. They're not for everybody. Not everybody feels moved to understand who they've been. Sometimes they're figures from a biblical figure. Sometimes they're figures, just the historic figures. What I have to do before giving one of these readings, however, is I have to check with spirit, and I usually divine that, whether it's an appropriate reading for the person. Are we going to find something or somebody that will help them make sense of themselves? And if it's not, there are still the Akashic or Akashic Records readings, which are hearing about 2 normal lifetimes from a person's past that will help them to understand and know themselves better. I do those regularly, sometimes a few a day. They're a long reading. They can take 2 to 3 hours. And they're fascinating to learn more about basically your soul's blueprint, what makes you tick, the types of things that you've done in the past. And yesterday I did a delightful one for somebody in Japan, and it was really fascinating for them to learn about who their family members were then and who they are now, because some of the family members that she has now were in her lifetimes previously. So just to wrap up, if you would like an Akashic Records reading, you're welcome to contact me at www.deb, that's D-E-B, .bullions, BULLIONS.com.au. For Australia, we have the .au. And if you'd like to learn from me and join the courses, you can come to www.spiritquestschool.org. That's me for today. Oh, we have a few seconds left. Let's talk about these courses. You can learn anything that you see that I do here on the show or talk about. I teach all of it. I hold nothing up my sleeves. Anything that I've learned or been taught, I will pass on. I have organized courses, but I also have mentoring sessions where we can customize them for you. So if you don't want to learn in a classroom environment online, you can learn one-to-one. You can suit yourself. Maybe there's certain things you'd like to work on, advanced techniques. You can do that too. So thank you so much for joining me this week. I look forward to talking with you next week. All the very best.